Oh man, have I got a lot to talk about this one. Hello everyone, Iceon Jacob Scott here, and well, let's talk about what happened this whole week on WKW Network. Now, WKW started off with Eric Black cutting a promo saying that since he didn't know that the match between him, Noble, and Cyrus was an elimination match changed at the very last minute, he's actually not that happy about how he won. So he said that he will do what he can to prove that he is a real champion, even if it means he has to face either Noble or Cyrus one more time, title on the line. Now let us to our first match, which was, speaking of Kyle Noble, he and number 1 in the Vigilantes, I guess number 2 has a day off, taking on La Resistance, Sylvain Grenier and Rene Dupré. And honestly, they really should have started praying because, well, it's the Vigilantes. They're going to kick ass, especially now that number 1 and number 2 are your new reigning LOA Wolf Tag Team Champions. And they just whooped all sorts of ass all over Rene Dupré. Sylvain couldn't even get tagged into the match. That's how bad the beatdown was. A noble sacrifice was all it took to spell victory. Now that led us to Kyle Noble taking the mic, sending number 1 back to the locker room. He'd done his deal for the day, and cutting a promo saying that he, for once, actually agrees with other wrestlers, this being Eric Black, and that the match should be restarted, whether it was caused in the last minute by Triple H or Mr. Davis. And that led to Sky Slash coming out and saying, you know what, Noble, I'm going to admit, even I was surprised that it was an elimination match. However, I still don't think you deserve to be a champion, so I'm going to do what I can to get inserted into the title picture. Noble rebukes Sky, but Sky pretty much says, you know what, let me prove myself. See how I do in this next match. Just watch. My match is next. And Noble said, alright, fine, but even if you do win, you might not even get the title shot anyway. But you've got 3 weeks. And if you can get in 3 weeks, maybe they'll put you in a title match. And speaking of Sky, his match happened right then and there. And to make it interesting, he demanded it was an Extreme Rules match. And his opponent, of all people, former NXT Tag Team Champion Kyle O'Reilly. Wow. I think Sky's really trying to prove himself here. And he and O'Reilly were going at it quite madly, but it all started coming to an end when Sky actually went under the ring to grab weapons. Notably, he grabbed a chair and a table. Now, his plan to wedge a chair into the corner and throw someone into it actually worked for him for once. He sent Kyle Noble into the chair, and then one quick powerbomb through a table. 1, 2, 3. That clean bomb was all it took for Sky's victory over O'Reilly. Now the third match, this one was also an Extreme Rules match. Wait, 2 Extreme Rules matches in a row? Okay, what's going on here, management? Anyway, who am I to judge? This Extreme Rules match was between Tyler Bate and Happy Cole for another time. Now, I will say, for an Extreme Rules match, not a lot of weapons are actually, I'm looking back at it, I don't think any weapons were brought out. Not a single one of them. Wow. Now, that wasn't very, extreme. But, I mean, it was still a good match anyway, especially when you got the quick skills of Tyler Bate. However, right when he hit his rolling kapu kick, I think that's what it's actually called, some music started up, and you're not going to believe this. Apollo Crews has returned to WKW. Although the question is, did he bring Commander Aziz with him? Because if he did, oh fuck, we all better start running, or else we're all gonna get taken thumbs to the throat with the Nigerian nail. Anyway, that distraction caused Happy Cool to roll up Tyler Bate schoolboy style. 1, 2, 3. Another roll up victory. What's going on here in WKW? That led to a very indignant Tyler Bate running out, grabbing Happy Cole, tossing him back into the ring, and dropping him with a Tyler Driver 97 just to send a message to Happy Cole that by no means this feud is over. It's going to continue, I believe, to Mania, Wolfmania. That led us to our fourth match. Arya Davari, he hasn't really been having a good streak as of late, taking on Infamous. Now, during the entrance of Arya, Infamous decided to run out, but his cue to run out came a little late because I think he really wanted to ambush Davari on the ramp. That didn't work. So he actually waited for Davari to start climbing into the ring. He slid into the ring literally right under Davari's nose, met him pretty much right in and there, dead center, and just laid him out. And because, well, that ambush happened in the ring, the ref started the match immediately. And I kind of don't blame Infamous for that one. With how he ended up losing that match against Skullmageddon, Kino Kobashi, and Happy Cole at Instant Warfare, hell, I would be pretty upset too. Now, Infamous was doing pretty damn good, although Davari was actually able to use his quickness to stumble the MMA specialist. It wasn't enough though, because Infamous eventually dropped him with a snap powerbomb for the clean victory, which I will say, knowing Infamous, a clean victory is pretty rare. Oh well, this should lead to something good, I believe. This led us to a fifth match, or no, our sixth match, fifth match. Akirazawa taking on Cameron Rose of the Mob, as always accompanied to the ring by Hayate. And Cameron was actually showing that you don't have to put everyone over, especially if you've already proven that you can put them over beforehand. Because he was just wailing on Akirazawa. This was looking like it was going to be a clean sweep. Then Tozawa momentarily changed things when he put Cameron on the apron and just dropped him with one stiff punch, sending him falling back first to the floor. Tozawa tried to pick up some momentum, but a brutal knee to the face pretty much stunned Tozawa so badly, he was just simply tossed back in and hit with a Northern Lights suplex with a bridging pin for the 3 count. And I mean, wow. I think if Rose ends up doing that knee more often, he can start getting more victories, even though the Mob's mission is supposedly to put people over. This led us to what would have been our sixth match, which would have been Emcon taking on Terry Terror in a nice little singles match between 2 tag teams. However, Terry Terror was nowhere to be found, and AJ King AJ King destroyed Emcon on the ramp, quickly dropping him with a military press, tossing him up into a Samoan drop to finish it off. I mean, okay, one thing has to be clear from all this. This feud is by no means over for these guys either. Wow. Now the main event for the WKW portion of this week was a non-title match. Skullmageddon, your current reigning King of the Wolves champion, going up against Shattuck. As usual, the stipulations apply. If the champion is pinned, they automatically have a match either at the next pay-per-view or somewhere down the line if that cannot be arranged. Now, Skullmageddon was just destroying Shattuck, although Shattuck did make a bit of a comeback, even going up top to hit his big move where he tried and he failed. It was a pretty cool spot though where Shattuck ended up getting punched in such a way that he just tumbled over the ropes and out of the ring with a pretty nasty spill to the floor. And all Skullmageddon had to do was drop him with one more deep sex. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what his move is called. We're calling that? Alright. He dropped him with deep sex for the 1, 2, 3. Skullmageddon has no challenge. Now, we will take you to what happened on WDW. And we're going to start that. Wait, that is momentarily turned into Chris Griffin. Oh well. We're starting that with Mamawa from Samoa taking on against Limitless Keith Lee. Please come back to in real life wrestling, please, Keith. I'm begging you. And wow, this was a big match right out of the chute with two big powerhouses. I mean, we all thought this was going to be a quick match from Momoa at first, but Keith Lee, showing that he has that strength of his for a reason, even doing a really cool pounce onto Momoa to send him actually flying, which for him, that's actually very, very uncommon. Well, unless you catch him surfing. Then he always tumbles because he's really not that good at it. He just likes to do it. Now, right at the very end, I believe Keith was trying to look for a spirit bomb. Momoa countered, and he hits a spear to weaken Lee, and then drops him with the Momoa driver, pretty much a tour of the islands like move of his. For the 1, 2, 3, Momoa with a big win over an even bigger man than he. Wow. Our second match was Cassidy, who is in line to take on Billy Hawkins for the vacant WDW heavyweight title. And Kai's opponent was the former Wolfpack champion, the former Platinum champion, dummy, Gabriel Pierce. Now, understandably, Pierce was pretty upset over losing his title to The Voice, but he still wasn't really able to focus all that much. I don't think he even went for the critical buster or the critical error once. Kai was just able to use that speed of his, even though there was a cool moment where 2 times in a row, Cassidy went for a springboard move onto Pierce, only to get caught and powerbombed down. The third time was a charm, though. He was able to turn it into a Hurricane Rana. No counter from Pierce. And right at the end, after a stunner, a Blackheart driver from Kai Cassidy. He hit some Blackheart splashes, but the driver was what got him the victory and even more momentum for his match at Wolfmania. I really hope he wins the title here. Now the third match was Dylan Casey, who I'm still starting to wonder if he's actually sane or not, taking on Totally XL Dragon. Well, Totally, formerly known as XL Dragon. And this was honestly a short match, but a pretty good one. He totally was able to get in some pretty good moves, but all I really have to say is that Dylan Casey dropped him with the Burn to Ashes reverse DDT to prove to everyone he is capable of winning and he is not insane. So 1, 2, 3, Casey wins, thereby at least somewhat proving his mind is sound. And, well, that's just one less bump in the road for him, I guess. So the fourth match that happened was Chris Crimson taking on... Who did he take on? Oh, yeah, taking on Isaac Mystery in a one-on-one match. And we haven't seen Isaac Mystery since he essentially got deleted by Hayate. Now, I will admit, I didn't really see too much of this match. I was away taking a call at the moment. But I do remember very clearly what the ending was. Crimson was able to power out of the mysterious submission several times. And then, well, he was able to drop Isaac with that super kick into the bridging German suplex, respect the underground, for a quick win and more momentum for Crimson. Now, right after that, the Wolfpack champion Sean Martin came out cutting a promo saying that, hey, I'm a new champion. I'm looking for a face to challenge for my title because Wolfmania is coming up and I want to make sure my first time there is a spectacular one. And Isaac Mystery, who just lost against Chris Crimson, comes out to answer the challenge. And, well, all I really have to say here is that it looks like next week there will be a contract signing between the two, and I don't know. There might be so many matches, we might have to split Wolfmania into 2 days. What do you think? Now the fifth match that happened, a non-title match, your current WDW Platinum Champion, The Voice, taking on TJ Salazar, who I'm going to sadly admit I don't think is ever really taken off here on WDW. That's what I would have liked to have said, but after his performance tonight, I think that might be starting to change. See, after a quick knee to the face, it was all set up to be a squash match. But right when the voice was going for that little reverse spinning roundhouse kick of his, Salazar caught it, threw him down to the ground, and dropped him with a big power move to cancel out the squash match. And wow, Salazar must have been blessed by the Lucha gods because he was not giving up on anything. He caught several of the reverse spin kicks. He withstood even more of them. And he was even able to withstand not one, but two power bombs across the knees that the voice calls the voice of the voiceless. Not a third time, though. Oh, lest I forget, he was actually able to get the voice into a submission hold not once but twice. I think one time the voice really couldn't escape. He just had to fight out of it. Now, right at the end though, Salazar was looking for that little corkscrew moonsault of his. He fell right onto knees, and the voice tried for a third time that voiceless backbreaker, and he hit it for the victory. So for now, the voice has no challenge. And that takes us to your main event, not just the WDW, but for the whole week itself. Billy Huggins, who's in line to have a match against Cassidy at Wolfmania, taking on Percy Lopez. These two have been fighting on and off lately, and they've even been trading victories, I've noticed. Now, for this one, oh man, this one, it really took the cake on Extreme. Because these guys were just not going to give up one bit. No matter how many hobo kicks and gator rolls are thrown, no matter how many real deal drivers were thrown, neither man was going to give up. Billy Hawkins was able even to withstand a real deal pile driver. And wow, like I was just in shock with his whole match. Huggins was eventually able to get the win and some of that lost momentum back with one more hobo kick to the face. And there's only 3 chances left to fully prove himself before he has to face Cassidy for that vacant WDW Heavyweight Championship. Well, that's been my recap for the week. Now, I do believe pretty soon I should have a recap for whatever happens on the next week of the WKW Network. Until that time, I see how Jacob Scott saying feel the fire, fear the cold. Most importantly, have a good day.